Good morning. All right, how is everybody this morning? Good, good. Your face, welcome. I'm Nancy. Nice to meet you. All right, what are we feeling like this morning? Happy Mother's Day to those who celebrated. Thank you, thank you. So on my way in, I was trying to think about, I was processing. I spent the weekend in Orlando. My son wrapped up his BMX season and number 6 in the state. Wow. But in his mind, he gave up 3rd. So it was an emotional weekend of highs and lows because, I mean, 6th place out of 21 riders. And there he was on the stage. He hasn't hit a growth spurt yet at 11. So, oh my God, these boys that are 11, I'm looking at them saying, how could you be 11? They're like double his size. And, but there was a lot of emotion this weekend with this race from adults. And quick story, this announcer who's phenomenal, like he almost like makes the races. He's got that auctioneer voice and he weaves in, remember from the original movie Grease, and the guy who introduced the dance and how he was like spinning the words so fast and saying, da, da, da. Remember that? You know who I'm talking about, right? That's how this guy is. And his nickname is Pump Pump. And he knows every rider, you know, calls them out by their nickname. Like the guy is just incredible. He got fired. For sexual harassment. I wish that it was ego, because somebody with USA BMX's ego got bruised because of, like, it's when I think about it, when I'm just processing it, and so I was reading about ego on the way here this morning, and it's such a powerful part of human behavior. And it's amazing how we can let it really get the best of us in some situations. So how does it relate to yoga? I mean, yoga is an opportunity for separating that and for seeing ourselves in a different manner. So yoga, the practice of yoga, goes beyond the physical, and it gives us an opportunity to use our practice to be better humans. So I just want to like bring yoga to everyone of that organization. I know, right? Like, I just hug you all. Come on. When ego loosens its hold even a little, the sense of freedom is exponential. So let's just come to a seat. Let's close our eyes or soften the gaze, whatever is comfortable for you. If it's not comfortable to close the eyes, don't worry about it. And just take a deep inhale and silently say to yourself, I, and silently say to yourself, am, on the exhale. Don't manipulate the breath too much, just let the natural flow of it, but offer that mantra to yourself on your inhales and exhales. This awareness of I am The ego of pure I amness experiences existence and knows that it is having that experience. It knows that it lives and functions in our bodies, yet is free from the need to become anything. As we access that state, it's possible to sense the deeper present that breathes through the body and thinks through the mind. And when we're in touch with the pure I am ego, it isn't hard to recognize that this same I am links us to others, no matter how different they may seem in personality or politics or culture from ourselves. We all stand on the same earth. We all breathe the same air. So our yoga practice, these opportunities to turn inward, to connect to what's inward, helps us to release the attachments to that seesaw that the ego puts us on. So connecting with our breath, using our breath to help us move through the physical part of this practice helps us to connect with the mental part of the practice. The rewiring of negative thoughts that put us on that seesaw, that going from how high you feel after reading a loving email from a person in your life to the bottom of that seesaw where those negative thoughts float in, finding balance inside. So bring your hands to your heart center and maybe set your intention this morning as it relates to balancing your own ego and remembering I am. Opening with the sound of Om, so take a deep inhale and sigh it out through the mouth. Thank yourself for being here. Give yourself grace throughout your practice this morning. Let go of that ego telling you that your pose should look like it should be on the cover of Yoga Journal. Flicker the eyes open. Let's start in tabletop this morning. So finding your hands and knees alignment. You want your knees stacked under your hips, your shoulders stacking with elbows and wrists. Spread your fingers. Plug into your thumbs, index finger, and the tips of your third, fourth, fifth fingers. And then pull the belly in. So all that's really working right now is this sensation in the belly. So this drawing the navel toward the spine so that you feel like the spine is neutral. So your spine is not in an arched position or a rounded position, but by really engaging those lower abdominal muscles, you're finding a neutral spine. And then begin to move through cats. So inhale, lifting the crown of the head up, and the tailbone tilting it up. And then come to a neutral spine. Separate your knees as wide as your mat and bring your toes to touch. And then walk your hands back so you bring your seat towards your heels. And then walk your hands out, extending the arms, straightening them, and then bowing the head down toward the earth. Finding child's pose. And as you tune into your breath in this child's pose, notice that it's coming from the belly, from the diaphragm, and that there's an expansion of the rib cage. And then an expansion of the lungs. Place a constriction in the back of your throat on the exhale. And this is that connection with the breath that I mentioned that helps modulate the practice. And then inhale, lifting up halfway, walking the hands over to your left. So your torso is coming in line with your left thigh. And then reach down, try and keep your right sit bone toward your right heel. So press into the palms as you move that right sit bone toward the right heel, while also reaching out with the right arm. And continue with the breath. And then inhale, lifting up, coming through center, walking the hands over to the right side. Be mindful of that left sit bone, reaching toward the left heel as you reach through the left fingertips. And notice those sensations that you're getting on the side body now. So breathing into those muscles in the ribs. Let the head be soft, so letting go of any tension in the neck. One more full breath in and full breath out. Inhale, lifting up through center, coming back to center and coming back to tabletop. Extending the right leg behind you and then drop that right heel down. So push back so you feel the right heel dropping toward the floor, getting a stretch for the back of that right leg. Inhale, rock forward. Exhale, rock back. Inhale, rock forward. And exhale, rock back. And then inhale to lift it. Balance your hips, leveling the sacrum. Inhale, left arm up by the ear. Turning the palm to face this direction so that have it turning to the right so that you're getting an external rotation in that left shoulder. The right toes are pointing toward the mat and push through that heel to lengthen that right leg. And again, draw zip the belly in so you feel that neutral spine, spinal balance. And then exhale, drawing elbow to meet the knee, rounding the back. Inhale, float back to spinal balance. Exhale, elbow to knee. Inhale, spinal balance. Exhale, elbow to knee. Inhale, spinal balance. Drop back to tabletop. Find neutral. Extend left leg behind you and then push that left heel down to the ground. Inhale, rock forward. Exhale, drop it down. Rock forward so you're kind of rolling onto your big toe. Exhale, drop that heel down. And then inhale, lifting it up hip height. Float that right arm up. Palm is facing now to this TV wall. So notice again how when you engage the lower abdominal muscles, when you feel the navel moving toward the spine, how you're able to feel a sense of the hips drawing toward the midline for better balance. So take an inhale and then exhale, draw elbow to meet the knee. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, elbow to knee. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, elbow to knee. And then inhale, lengthen. Drop back down to tabletop. And then walk your hands out further. So you're coming to the top corners of your mat. Take your hands wider than your shoulders. So the arms are straight, your hips still in line with your knees, and then drop chest and forehead toward the mat. You may not go down all the way, and that's okay. Just try not to sit back. This is puppy pose. So you're bowing down, the arms are straight. Keep hips stacked in line with the knees. A big shoulder stretch here in puppy pose. You're moving your chest toward the floor. If you're able to lift your chin up to the mat, try that. It intensifies the stretch a little bit more. And then inhale, lifting back up to tabletop. Come down to your forearms. So we're going to find forearm plank. So make sure your forearms are under your shoulders. So wrap your fingers around your elbows. And then that's the correct distance. So the elbows are under the shoulders, and then bring the forearms and the hands to the mat. Step one foot back, and then the other, lengthening the legs. Drop the hips down a little bit so that you're creating a line of energy. Beautiful. Firing up the core. So breathe in, breathe out one. Breathe in, breathe out two. Good alignment. Just a little closer. And then come to the tops of your feet. Lower your knees, your thighs, your hips. Slide your arms out forward just a little bit so your elbows are under the shoulders, coming into Sphinx pose. This mild back bend. So think about it being a back extension. How can you find more extension? Lengthen down to the low back, turning the pubic bone toward the mat. Feel the energy lifting you up, opening across the heart space. Gaze is looking ahead, but not putting too much pressure on the neck. One more full inhale. Then exhale, lower all the way down, stack your hands, forehead on the backs of your hands. Bend your knees, so knees are apart, about hip distance apart, and then slowly windshield wiper the knees from side to side. Noticing sensations in the low back. Soften the shoulders, the neck. And then lower the knees down, slide your hands by your lowest set of ribs and hug your elbows into your side body. Press into your hands to lift you up, pushing your seat back to your heels. And then inhale, come up on your knees, float the arms overhead. Bring the hands to heart center. Little work on our shoulders now. Take the arms out in front of you. Cross your right elbow on top of your left. Bend of the elbows and bring the backs of the hands to touch. So just stay here for a moment. Notice you can soften the shoulders away from your ears. Cross right elbow over left. And now see if you can wrap your wrists around where the palms now touch. So eagle arms. Draw the shoulder blades toward each other in the back, as if you're holding a pencil in between the shoulder blades. Draw the belly in to take any arch out of the back. Take an inhale as you lift the elbows a little bit higher. And then exhale, start rounding the spine forward, drawing elbows in toward the belly. And inhale, lift back up, release, let your eagle arms fly. Interlace the fingers behind your back. Either straighten the arms or bring your knuckles to touch your sacrum, but either way, draw the elbows toward each other. Draw the belly in, lift the chest. Full breath in. Full breath out and release. Bring the arms back in front and this time cross left elbow on top of the right. Then bend the elbows. Start by bringing the backs of the hands to touch. Soften shoulders away from ears. Draw the shoulder blades toward each other. And now try and wrap a little further by touching the palms. Next, inhale, lift the elbows a little higher. And exhale, lowering them down. Rounding the spine a little bit, drawing those elbows into the belly. And inhale to lift up and let your eagle fly. Take your arms out to the sides and flex those hands. Push through the palms. Draw the arms back a little bit out of your peripheral vision. Feel the breath in that open chest. And exhale, hands back down to the mat, step the feet back, finding plank pose. Exhale, the hips lift you into downward facing dog. Inhale, rock the body forward, find plank pose. Then push back, bending the knees, coming into a squat. Exhale into downward facing dog. Inhale, rock the body forward to plank pose. Exhale, push back, bend the knees, and right into downward facing dog. So one more time. Inhale, rock forward to plank. Exhale, bending the knees, pushing back to that squat, right into downward facing dog. Beautiful. Hold here in downward dog. Breathe in. Breathe out one. Breathe in. Breathe out two. Breathe in. Breathe out three. Breathe in. Breathe out four. Breathe in. Breathe out five. Look between your hands. Walk one footprint at a time to the top of your mat. Lift up halfway. Finding a flat back, take your arms out to the sides and form a T shape. So try not to bring the arms back like you're flying, but straight out from the shoulders. So lifting higher, flat back, arms forward. And then lengthening from low back, up the spine, out to the crown of the head. Another full breath in and out, and then bend your knees a little bit. Lift the upper body to stand, then straighten the legs, float the arms overhead, hands come to heart center. Tadasana, grab your blocks, place them on either side of your feet. And then bring your hands to your hips, hinge at your hips as you come into your forward fold. Hands on blocks, bend your knees and shoot that right leg back as far as you can to find a low lunge. So have this left knee bending at a 90-degree angle, left knee in line with left ankle. Lengthen the right leg. Find some length here. So try not to collapse in this low lunge, but really straighten it. And deep stretch for our hip flexors and psoas muscle. Keep the right hand on the block. Inhale, left arm lifts up, finding a twist. Full breath in. Full breath out. Full breath in. Exhale that left hand down. Drop the right knee down. Uncurl the toes. And then lift up on your fingertips so the chest lifts up. Draw the hips toward the midline. Flip the arms up. Stack shoulders in line with hips. Then bend the elbows, cactus arms. Inhale, arms up by the ears. Exhale, cactus arms. Sweep the arms behind your back. Another shoulder and chest opener. So extending the arms and lifting them off the back or bringing knuckles to your sacrum. Inhale, chest open, expansive. Inhale, float the arms up by the ears, then sweep them forward, back down to the blocks. Tuck the right toes under and lift that right leg to a low lunge. And now shift your hips back as you straighten the left leg, extended pyramid pose. So both legs fully extended. Let's try to straighten that front leg a little bit more. Then rebend that left knee. Keep your hands on your blocks as you step the left leg back, finding plank. Lift your hips, downward dog with the blocks. And just notice how much more extension we have in the spine, in the arms. Maybe the heels are dropping toward the mat a little bit more. Another full breath in. And out, and now look between your hands, bend your knees, And see if you can take a little hop forward, feet between the blocks. Inhale, lift up halfway. Bring your hands to your hips. Find that where you feel your fingers on your hips, so you feel that hinging action, and then fold forward. Uttanasana, forward fold. Hands to your blocks, bend your knees, step your left leg back. So low lunge on the other side, creating a 90-degree angle with your right knee. Lengthen that left leg, really push through the heel. Get that stretch for your hip flexor. And then keep the left hand on the block as you inhale the right arm, twisting open to the right. So that right chest opening, that right shoulder softening. So have the palm facing the emergency wall. One more full inhale, and then exhale, lowering that hand down to the block, dropping left knee down. Uncurl the toe, come to your fingertips to start where you feel your chest opening, that rounding of the back disappearing. Then shift back, arms come up by the ears, draw the hips toward the midline. Exhale, cactus arms. Inhale, lengthening the arms up. Keep the engagement in the belly. Arms lift up. And sweep the arms behind your back. Interlacing the fingers, lengthening the arms or knuckles to sacrum. Chest lifting and expanding. Inhale, I. Exhale, am. Inhale, arms float up, and then sweep them forward down to the blocks. Tuck the left toes under, straighten the right leg, extended pyramid pose. So both legs fully extended. Your left heel is lifted. Maybe the chest is moving toward that right leg. So you can take this as deep as what feels good. Think about lengthening the spine though if you're hinging forward. And then rebend that right knee. Hands are still on blocks. Step the right leg back. Find plank pose. Exhale into downward facing dog. Take advantage of the blocks. Feel that extension in your arms and your spine. Lift your gaze. So your feet will go where your eyes are. So bend your knees. Keep your eyes fixed in between the blocks. Push off, jump between the blocks. Inhale, lift up halfway. Hands to hips, put a little bend in your knees, and then come to stand. Tadasana, mountain pose. Take a full breath in, full breath out. So finding mountain pose. Notice your feet, hip distance apart. Find some symmetry. So your toes, your second toe is pointing forward. Notice how your spine feels. So part of this practice of letting our ego go a little bit is self-study. That process of turning inward and noticing what's happening in the body. Press your feet into the earth. Really feel as if you're rooting down, lengthen down through your tailbone. Inhale, the arms overhead and interlace your fingers, extending the index fingers, pointing straight up. Take a breath as you lengthen up, and then exhale, side bend over to the left. reaching through the index fingers. 2 more breaths here. Full breath in. Full breath out, pressing into the right foot a little bit more. Full breath in. Full breath out. Inhale through center and exhale to the other side. Trying to keep the arms near the ears. Full breath in, opening up the muscles. Decompressing. Inhale through center, dive forward. So hinging at the hips, coming into your forward fold with that lengthening of the spine. Use a block under your fingers, or if hands are coming to the earth. So whatever's natural for you. We never want to think that we're not doing it right if we're using a block. When we don't reach the earth naturally, we bring the earth to you. Lift up to stand. And now take the right foot, cross it in front of the left knee so that the sides of your feet are coming together. Bring your hands to your hips. Begin leading with the heart as you fold in half. As soon as you start to feel that IT band stretch in that left side, so find that point where you can still take a full and even breath. And then deepen the stretch as it feels comfortable. So use your breath. Send the breath to that tension, invite it to release. Full breath in, full breath out. Inhale to lift up. Release that right leg, find Tadasana. Take a full breath in and out, and then take that left foot in front of the right, so crossing at the knees. Bring the sides of the feet to meet, hands to hips. Begin leading with the heart. Hinging forward. It's a different stretch than rounding into it. And again, as soon as you start to feel that IT stretch on the right side now, allow the breath to bring you deeper into it. Press the feet into the mat for grounding. And then inhale to lift up. And separate the feet, find Tadasana. Inhale, the arms overhead. So let's do a vinyasa in between. Float down to Uttanasana, forward fold. Inhale, lift up halfway. Exhale, bend the knees, plant your hands on the mat or blocks. Finding plank pose. Then rock the body forward. So rock up on your toes, then drop your knees, bend the elbows, lower the upper body down to the mat. Make sure the hands are by your lowest set of ribs, elbows hugging in, shoulders drawing away from the ears. Lengthen your low back. On an inhale, lift the upper body into cobra pose. And then exhale, lower down, tuck your toes under, push back to that squat. Then hips lift you into downward facing dog. Full breath in. Full breath out. Next inhale, lift your right leg, find three-legged dog. Draw the right knee into your chest and step that right foot forward. Grab your blocks, frame your right foot. Put a bend in your right knee and then drop that left heel down. So look back, make sure your feet are on two different planks of wood. So your left foot is not directly behind your right. Then bring your hands to your hips. So hips facing forward, lift the upper body, lifting up into warrior one. When you feel balanced, take the arms up, warrior one. So we're lengthening the back leg and we're finding a 90-degree angle with the front knee. The hips squaring forward. So it's a front hip opener. Straighten the right leg. Sweep the arms behind your back. Interlace your fingers or bring knuckles to the sacrum. Bend that right knee again. And then bow the heart forward for humble warrior. Your shoulders squaring with your hips. So we're not putting all our weight on that right thigh. We're kind of leaning the heart forward. Engaging the core here. Press into the feet to lift back up. Float the arms back up to warrior one. Exhale, hands to blocks. Step the right foot back, finding plank, then lift the hips, downward facing dog. So you can keep the hands on the blocks or move them to the side. And then inhale, left leg lifts, three-legged dog. Draw left knee into your chest, step it forward. So we're in this high lunge. Check your feet. They should be on two planks of wood. Then drop that right heel down. You can use blocks to frame that left foot. So really ground down, push through your feet. Bring your hands to your hips, lift the upper body. Lifting you into warrior one, arms float up. So back leg, fully extended, left knee, 90-degree angle, and that left knee, check in with it. You don't want it to be bowing out to the left or falling, collapsing into the right. So it's tracking with that second toe. Beautiful. Feel a softening in the shoulders. Straighten that left leg. Bring the hands behind your back, either arms extending or knuckles to sacrum. Feel that chest opening. Bend, rebend, left knee. Lead with the heart as you come in to humble warrior. If the arms are extended, try lifting them off the back for a little bit of a deeper stretch for the shoulders. Keep pressing into the feet. Use your core. Humble warrior. Inhale, lift back up. Float the hands back up, warrior one. And then exhale, hands down to the blocks. Move them to the side. Bring the hands down to the mat. Step back to plank pose. Rock the body forward onto your toes, then drop your knees down. So you can see how my shoulders are past my wrists. Then I'm going to bend at the elbows, lower the whole upper body at the same time. Coming onto the belly, inhale, lifting into cobra. And exhale, lower down. Tuck the toes under, push your seat to your heels, and lift the hips, downward facing dog. Full breath in. Full breath out. Lift your gaze If you want to try hopping again without the blocks, or if you want to put the blocks under your hands to try hopping, or you can just walk one footprint at a time to the top of your mat. Inhale, lift up halfway, flip the arms out to the side, put a little bend in your knees, then lift the upper body, come to stand. Hands to heart center, hands to hips. Put a soft bend, little softening of the knees. Then balance on your left foot. Lift that right foot off the mat about an inch. Find a drishti and notice if your right hip is higher than your left, even it out. And then step that right foot back, drop the heel down, straighten the left leg. So your feet are on two different planks of wood again. Your right toes are turning more toward the front of the room, and your hips, find your hip points, they're facing the mirrors. Almost like you're leaning back a little bit, feel that opening in the chest. Now begin, keep the elbows back. You're leading with the heart as you hinge forward. Notice how your spine feels. When you get about halfway, notice if you can keep going or if you want to grab your blocks, place your blocks under your shoulders. So we did extended pyramid. This is now our regular pyramid pose where our legs are a little closer together. We're leveling our hips. Beautiful, everyone. Everyone looks great. Normally I'll see one hip jacked up than the other. So in this case, if you feel like your right hip is a little higher, you want to level that out. So extended pyramid, or sorry, regular pyramid pose. Lift up halfway, bring your hands to your hips, and now reach the arms out in front of you. Take your right hand to the left block, and then take that left arm up, opening into revolved pyramid. So that block is staying outside your left foot. Feels like twister. And this left arm is reaching straight up. So another deep stretch for our IT band. Everybody feeling that? Yeah. One more full breath in. And then exhale, lower that left hand, take your hands to your blocks, hands to hips, lift up by pressing into the feet. Bend that left knee, bring the right foot forward, and shake it out. It's a deep stretch for the IT band. So we did warm it up a little bit with when we crossed the feet and came down, but just honor your body. Don't push yourself into pain. You want to get yourself to a point where you're feeling the stretch, you can still maintain a breath, a deep breath. Finding Tadasana, mountain pose. Little softening of the knees, hands to hips, and now put weight into the right foot. You're hovering the left foot off the mat. Notice if your left hip came up and drop it down. Find that balancing of the hips. Then take the left foot back and drop the heel, straighten both legs. So you're kind of leaning back a little bit. Feel that opening across the chest. Now lead with the heart, elbows coming back. Lead with the heart as you hinge forward. Keeping that lengthening of the spine when you get about halfway. Fingertips to blocks. This might be where you work. Or maybe bending the elbows and continuing to bring that chest toward the right leg, but don't compromise the hips. Hips staying level. Forward. so you might need to just make that adjustment. And then we're gonna come into this revolve, but come up halfway first. Bring your hands to your hips. Reach the arms out in front of you. Take your left hand to the right block. So the right block is outside your right foot. Then float that right arm up, opening the right side of your chest to this exit wall. Beautiful. Legs are still extended. So try to block at the highest. So draw the hips toward the midline. Engage the belly. Better, yeah. And then come out of the twist, hands to blocks. Bend the left knee, bring that right foot forward. Lift up halfway. And exhale, come into your forward fold, Uttanasana. Hold opposite elbows, hang like a Raggedy Ann doll. Maybe sway a little bit from side to side. And then we're gonna come down to the floor. So however you wanna get there, if you wanna bend the knees slowly, bringing your seat to the mat. Coming all the way down onto your back. And then bring your block in between your thighs. Bring your feet to the mat and bring your heels toward your sits bones so that when you reach your hands out, you're grazing the back of your heel with your longest finger. Correct alignment in bridge pose. We want our feet, our knees in line with our hips. We don't want our feet too far out to the sides. And then bring your arms down about 20 degrees away from the body, palms face down. On your next inhale, begin pressing into the feet to lift your hips up toward the sky. Keep your gaze and your nose facing the ceiling. With each exhale, see if you can lift the back a little higher. Bringing your chest to your chin. You can do this. Lower down one vertebrae at a time. Take your block and lift your hips again. Slide the block under your sacrum, that bony part of the low back, at either the lowest height, or if you did get a lot of lift in your bridge pose, you might want to flip the block to the middle height. And then allow all your weight to rest on the block. Your gaze and your nose still facing the ceiling. Still maintain that alignment of your knees and your feet are hip distance apart. Arms are still out to the side. This time, flip your palms up so that you feel external rotation in the shoulders. Next inhale, silently say I. And then exhale, and as you slowly push into the feet, lift your hips, remove the block, lower all the way down. Hug your knees into your chest. And rock from side to side. Extend the left leg out long onto the mat, keeping the right knee hugged into your chest, coming into a spinal twist. So take this right knee down to the left as you roll onto your left side of the body. Keep this right knee at a 90-degree angle in line with your navel, and extend the right arm out. So you're extending straight out from the shoulder. With each inhale and exhale, soften into the twist. Releasing tension in that left leg. And then inhale to lift that right knee back to center. Draw left knee into your chest. Rock a little bit from side to side, massaging the sacrum. Then we'll extend the right leg out onto the mat. Keep the left knee hugging in as you use your right hand to guide that left knee over to the right side. Rolling onto the right side of your body, and then extend that left arm straight out from the shoulder, palm, face up. So twists are meant to place a little constriction in the body. You want to breathe through that. One more full inhale and exhale. Next inhale brings you to center. Hug the knees into your chest. Lift your forehead up to your knees. Breathe into the back of the neck. And then drop the head down. Extend both legs up to the ceiling. So feet are facing the sky. Let the arms come out to the sides, about 20 degrees away from your body. Palms face up. Bring your index finger under your thumb. Extend your third, fourth, fifth fingers. Finding this Jnana Mudra. Soften the shoulders, soften the eyes, maybe close the eyes completely. With each inhale, silently repeating I. The exhale, and. Inhale, I. Exhale, and. Draw knees into your chest. Drop the feet to the mat. Heel toe your feet so your feet are as wide as your mat. Bring your hands to your belly and then let your knees come together. Starting in this constructive rest pose. Have your heels be a comfortable distance away from your sits bones. At any point, if you feel more comfortable straightening your legs out onto the mat for a full corpse pose, you can, or you can keep the knees bent the whole time in constructive rest. Whatever allows you to release into rest, into stillness more comfortably. Allowing the breath to become involuntary. Allowing the tongue to feel voluminous in your mouth, the tongue dropping away from the roof of your mouth. Allowing the awareness of I am to come into this quiet moment. Feeling present is feeling I am. Our basic sense of aliveness, of being. The feeling of I am is the most basic you. The you that doesn't change along with your body, your emotions, your opinions. Staying in touch with it. It might help stabilize you. You begin to feel present and at peace. Feeling the air of total clarity. As I am, feeling something bigger that acts through you. Loosening the ego's tight grasp. Allowing freedom to replace it. Bring one hand to your belly, one hand over your chest, and begin to invite in a deeper breath. So mindfully feeling the rise and fall of the breath, feel this connection to the breath. Notice the sensations that gives you, that connection with the breath. If the knees are still bent, go ahead and extend them long and then invite small movements, wiggling the toes, wiggling the fingers, circling the wrists. Take the arms overhead on an inhale. Bring the knees into the chest, roll onto your right side. Rolling onto the right side and then coming up to a seat when you're ready. Rooting down through the sits bones, bringing your chin parallel with the floor, hands to heart center. Just revisit the intention that you set at the start of your practice. Soft bow of the head toward your heart. Thank yourself for being here. Thank yourself for being open to whatever this practice feeds you. Different on any given day. Give yourself grace for any moments that were challenging, to not beat yourself up for wanting to do something better or stronger, and know that with each day we get stronger. And just being faithful to the practice of the present of what is. The light in me sees and honors the light in each of you. Let's seal the practice with the sound of Om. So take a full inhale and exhale it out, and then we'll Om on the next exhale. Namaste. Wishing you all a beautiful Monday, a great start of your week. Oh. Hope you feel good. Okay, well, thank you. Thank you for joining us online. I'm not sure who that is. It says MS account. I think I counted 16. So I'm trying to figure out that sensation that you're feeling. So when you are standing here, and you've got to separate your feet from me. So don't turn that yet, there, right there. And then hips are shining forward. And now keep that as you lean the heart forward.
Keep the front
So feel that hinging, yeah.
down.
So notice how level you can feel it with your own hands. Put your hand on your sacrum. So keep pressing into the feet. Yes. So you're leaning to your left a little bit. See if you come, yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's
That's what it was, I think, that you
yeah.
were.
Because I was off balance.
Yeah.
It was hard to stay
Yeah, you were like
because
kind of
I
going,
must have been lying,
twisting
yeah.
to your left a little bit versus
Yeah.
keeping the hips, the shoulders. Think about your shoulders staying with your hips.
When I moved over
Yes.
a little, my balance was fine.
Yeah.
Before that, I was struggling to stay
That's
down.
what it
So I
was.
guess that's why.
Yeah. I was trying to figure it out. I was like, why is she? Yeah.
Definitely an investment in a blanket to cushion the knees, or even if you bring a towel. Yeah, just keep. Yeah, just because the breath work and then lying on your belly asana is fine because then it's a way to breathe, get the breath from your diaphragm and get your mind off of the chatter and to draw the focus to the breath. The breath is very healing. Yes. I teach every Monday. Every Monday. Yes. Flexibility of the mind. That's what you get for it. Teach more than just the business. And today's lesson about ego. So by thinking that you're not flexible enough, that's that attachment to the ego. That you let go. There's I think, oh, we have a paper towel, okay. Is vertigo ongoing? Like you've had it for a long time, or? It's given. My mother, my aunt. So then, my daughter, from the belly, Shavasana on your belly, then I would advise you to just then move your way to that meditative seat. So if you get tired, if we're still in Shavasana on our backs, and you're tired of being on your belly, and you just come to a seat, that meditative seat to finish your rest. We'll work with you. All right, good. Sorry. Just keep coming. Thank you. It's like 45 seconds. 45 seconds. So yes, even when I was young, I mean, I'm grateful that I had her at least longer than other people. But yeah, but it's hard.